1961, and I'm in West Berlin, working on Billy Wilder's Cold War comedy 1, 2, 3. And it was a fun show. You had James Cagney, who was a peach as long as you didn't bring up politics. You had Pamela Tiffin, who was an absolute sweetheart, and Arlene Francis, who was sharp as a tack. And you had Horst Buchholz. That's it. That's all I got. Anyway, I had a rare Saturday off, so I went into East Berlin to visit an old buddy of mine, Wolf Gerhardt. He was an effects man who had fled Germany with Fritz Lang when the Nazis took power. Well, after the war, he returned to help with reconstruction, and then he eventually became the head of physical effects at Studio Baselberg. So there we are. It's just us, his daughter, his son-in-law, and his 3-year-old grandson, Aaron. We share a bratwurst and beer and swap stories about the old days. Anyway, it was getting late, and I was getting ready to call a cab, and Rolf says, "Why don't you spend the night? You can sack out on our couch, and I'll drive you back into West Berlin in the morning." And I figured, all right. At 4 in the morning, Wolf wakes me up. "Marty, we got a problem. The Russians are sealing the border. We gotta get you out of here." It turns out that this was the weekend the Russians had started to build the Berlin Wall. So once again, I had to escape from Berlin under threat of death. It was Leni Riefenstahl all over again. But Rolf was prepared. He had been sneaking metal out of the studio for weeks and using it to reinforce the body of his 1958 Ford Thunderbird. The plan was to ram through the barricade before it was fully built. And I said, "Well, won't they shoot at us?" And he said, "Well, would you prefer the Russians shoot you in bed?" And I said, "Well, I'd actually still be in bed." He gave me a scowl only a German could deliver and said, "Get in the goddamn trunk already." So Wolf's driving. His daughter and son-in-law are crouched in the back seat, and I'm in the trunk, draped over the grad kid, who's scared to death, and really, who could blame him? We drive along for a few minutes, and then we stop. And then I hear Wolf yell, "Hang on!" And we barrel through as the sound of gunfire fills the air. After a few minutes, the gunfire stops, and then we stop, and Wolf yells, "All clear!" And then I realize that I am covered in urine. And to this day, I do not know where it came from, me or the kid. So I clean up, head off to the studio to find that the production is getting ready to bug out to Munich. Wilder sees me and says, "Marty, where have you been?" And I said, "I just got out of East Berlin in a hail of gunfire." Wilder looks at me for a moment and says, "What happened? You fucked Leni Riefenstahl again?" Having been zinged, I helped with the move. The postscript to this story is that I returned to West Berlin in 1985 for the film's triumphal re-release. It was there I saw Aaron, Wolf's grandson, who is now in his 30s and a film teacher. It was a lovely reunion, except for the fact that we could still not agree on who peed on who.